Well, welcome back to the Thrive Coaching Podcast. We know it's been a while since we've been on the screen for you guys.
Since I've been on,
Zane likes to get sick a lot.
It's been like 2 weeks, dude. I was dying.
But it actually was a nice refresher.
Yeah.
We were kind of pumping out a lot of content, and as far as me launching Thrive Media, podcast agency, and all of that, it was actually nice having a little break.
Yeah.
Especially in the middle of summer in HVAC. So I wasn't regretting it at all, actually.
No, you actually canceled on me twice.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. I canceled once, you canceled twice. So
Yeah. Well, anyways.
So today we're on episode 3 now.
First, I want to start off by saying shout out to my wife
Yeah.
on the Mom Sense podcast. But tomorrow's our 5-year anniversary.
Is it really?
Yeah, so we'll be out of town. But yeah, so happy 5 years to my beautiful wife. She probably thinks it's been 10.
Where are y'all going?
We're going to Legacy, Plano Legacy.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, Friday night.
Huh.
Why?
You didn't tell me.
Oh. If you want to play golf Sunday, come on.
What am I doing Sunday? We have the draft.
Yeah, I'm going to golf in the morning.
Yeah, no, we're not. We're probably won't do that. We have the draft.
The draft is Sunday night.
Yeah, I know. I gotta zone in. I gotta get focused in.
You have to prepare that much. It's not that hard. Draft everybody who's good.
Yeah, that's what you say if Mister haven't made playoffs yet. So
what do you?
That's all I'm gonna say. You haven't made
for
playoffs
Dark
in our
Side?
league?
Yeah, no. I'm snake bitten in that league.
But today we're kind of on episode 3 of the mindset, and this one's gonna be about building the growth mindset, making sure that you can kind of see the steps. Something that I'm working on still right now, and it's something that I'm developing, and I'm sure Justin still has his things where he has to go into, and actually being able to make sure we're on it and can talk about it to where we work at it every day.
For sure. And I think it's something that you work on the rest of your life. Like you're going to have to wake up and make sure your mind's right, no matter how good or great you think you've conquered it. I mean, look at Kobe Bryant and Tom Brady practiced it every day, even after they were great. Like they talked about their mental game more than anything. I mean, I've shared the Tom Brady story where they played in the Pro-Am like 2 years ago, the celebrity golf match called The Match. And he literally, while everybody else was like on the strip partying, he was out the night before the match, rolling balls on the green, reading the green, like rolling them. And it's not even just like sport. Like that's called a mindset. Like that's a winner's mindset.
No, and not even just in competition, more business-wise too.
Yeah, anything. Like if you want to be the best, you have to have a mindset that makes you want to be the best. You can't have an average mindset and expect greatness.
And I think the first part of it, which is kind of getting into it and being able to help develop your mindset, is your words. You're with your inner self, right? You need to be able to speak positively about yourself.
Yeah.
When you make those small accomplishments, when, a lot of people, when growing up, buying their first car, like, yeah, I did that. Or saying, hey, I am good at what I do, whatever that is, whether for mine and the industry that I'm in or what he's doing.
Yeah.
Always talking positive about yourself, even when things aren't necessarily going your way. And I think there's a fine line between being confident and cocky when you're talking to yourself. And I know you got to be able to balance yourself to where you're humble about it, to where you say, hey, I am good at this, but you're humble. You're always willing to learn. And that's part of the mindset with growing within your mindset, is being able to, hey, listen, pay attention. I am good at this, but hey, there's someone here that may know a little bit more than I do.
No, I agree with that 100%. Is you can't even start to have a growth mindset until you self-reflect and see where the areas of your life you need to grow the most. If you are stubborn or think you already know everything, your ability to grow just depletes right there, because you're not going to be willing to hear people out, listen to what they say, or ask them from their experience, like, hey, I'm going through this, or this is coming up in my life. What do I need to do to prepare for it mentally, physically, emotionally? And yeah, I think that is a big struggle, is a lot of people don't have that ability to put their pride away, to where they don't want to admit that they are, or they do have faults, or they're not perfect at everything. One thing for me is, I would say, kind of piggybacking off what you just brought up was words of like affirmation towards yourself. I struggle with that a lot because to me, I've always thought it was like awkward, even like praying, like even when I pray over myself, like Lord bless me, or Lord, I am a conqueror, Lord, I am a believer, like I am above all things. It's hard for me to just pray like that. It's just weird for me. So I've always struggled with that because I'm my first critic. And so for me to speak positivity into myself and not constantly just think about everything I just screw up is really hard. And that's a daily struggle I have to deal with. Like my mind instantly goes to the bad.
Yeah.
For no one else, but for me, instantly. Like for you, Cambria, other people I love in my life, I always see positive things, like what you're good at, what you're great at. But for me, it's like, yeah, I just see the flaws.
Yeah, and I think that's with most people. And there's this exercise that a lot of people have done. I don't know if you've done it or not. I've seen Logan Paul talked about what he does as far as, and my mom does it. I know tons of people that do this to where you necessarily won't say it or won't think it about yourself, but write it down on a mirror
Yeah.
to where Logan literally said, he said, every day I walk into the bathroom and I say the things that I wrote up on there.
Yeah. And say what you want about the guy, but his mindset and confidence is
Yeah.
off the charts.
Yeah.
So, no, I believe it. I mean, there's a reason why in the word, and I think it's in Habakkuk. I can never pronounce that book the right way, but it says in there, write it on my a tablet. I want to say I could be botching that, but yeah, there's a reason why it says on the words because it's true. Write
Yeah.
it down, speak it, believe it over yourself. Um, there's a reason why the Bible is written. Like words are powerful. It wasn't just written so we can read it.
Yeah.
So
And moving on to the next thing is when you're going into this mindset, accepting the challenges. I tell people all the time, I think it's funny. I don't pray for patience anymore. I haven't in a
Yeah, I
very
know.
long time.
You need it.
I don't pray for
based off your
patience.
culture index.
Because when I pray for patience, God gives me opportunities to be patient. He doesn't make me patient.
Yeah.
I don't want to be put in opportunities where I have to be patient.
I'm gonna start praying for patience for you.
But understanding and reflecting, and when you look at yourself in the mirror, when those challenges come,
Yeah.
knowing, okay, kind of take a step back. I have to take a step back. It's something that me and Kaylee, when we were sitting there having an argument, it was a conflict that we had. At the beginning of our relationship, me and her would have just gone at it and just started arguing back and forth with each other. I took a step back, and it was right after her bachelorette party. And she was upset with me. She said I was being rude. I thought she was being rude. And my mindset had to switch into, okay, hey, what's wrong? To where instead of us just arguing back and forth about what she did, what I did, I took a step back and I said, hey, are you okay? Like, what's going on? I'm happy to see you right now. I haven't seen you in 4 days.
Yeah.
And then she broke it down. Hey, this happened on the way home. This happened on the way home. So many different things happened.
We conquered Hurricane Harvey on our bachelorette trip. I saw all the videos.
Not even on our bachelorette trip, just on the drive home. And I said, okay, well, let's sit down. So when you face those challenges, going back into patience, I don't pray for patience, but the Lord knows I need patience. With your mindset, being able to take a step back and say, okay, hey, let's accept this challenge, whatever it is, whether it be an argument with your spouse,
Yeah.
whether it be in a challenge at work where you're failing at a certain task, take a step back. Ask a person that's really good at that task, hey, how can I help?
Yeah.
So you can learn from them. Taking a step back and with your spouse and saying, hey, what's really behind this issue? What's going on?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Asking somebody who's in your inner circle is the best way to get true criticism true criticism with love. Because if they truly do love you and they want the best for you, they're not going to beat around the bush. They're going to tell you straight up what's going on. And I think that's the best reflection you can get back because not everybody is good. I guess the best way to put this is you might think everybody wants you to win, but some people don't. So they might
Say that
not.
one more time?
You might think everybody wants you to win.
Yeah.
That you know, but some people don't. So they might tell you stuff that's really not true or feeding you not lies, but kind of just like misconception of what you truly need to work on, or maybe they just don't want to hurt your feelings. Like, so I think you have to have people in your corner that are going to be real with you and honest with you and tell you, hey, Justin, Zayne, you screwed up. This is what you did. This is what you should have done, or this is what you need to do in the future. And just being able to rely on people like that in your life is huge and critical. I mean, that's why I was huge on having a coach in your life. I stepped away from it for a little bit these past couple months just because of time. I wasn't able to make all of the coaching sessions, so I wasn't just going to throw money away. But I think it's huge to have someone like that that you can just talk to weekly, even if it's a group. If you join a group session, like, it's good to have people in your life to hold you accountable, and that's how you start even transitioning into that growth mindset, is holding yourself accountable.
And that kind of moves on to our next segment, is taking in the criticism, finding
Yeah.
new people to where, you know, I'm going to call you out for anything. I don't care. I don't care if it hurts
Oh,
your
I know.
feelings. If I see it, I'm going to call it. I expect you to do the same thing to me.
Yeah.
So making sure,
I might take it a little better.
no, I've grown. I've grown.
See, that's a definition of growth mindset.
Oh yeah. And finding those people, and no matter who it is, it could be. And I think that's the most beautiful things about growing up.
Yeah.
I could learn something from Kensington.
I learn something from her every day, so I won't tell her, but I do.
Yeah, you can learn someone that's younger than you. Obviously, you want to go in and talk to the people that are older, kind of been through life, but at the same time, you don't want to forget the kid emotions, the being a kid, having the kid feeling at times.
Yeah.
To where you can enjoy yourself, enjoy the time that you're spending. And I think that's one of the biggest parts about your mindset, is my mindset, maybe not yours, but mine, is being able to listen and actually step back. You know, a story that I can go ahead and tell you. When I first started with Firehouse, I mean, I already told you, I had some of the more experience than others when they first started, and not knocking to them. I still do to a certain point, but I would question back, go back and forth. And me and one of my management, we were sitting there talking one day. He said, Zayne, I'm not gonna lie, dude, you're hard to deal with. And
Preach.
he told me that. He said, you're hard to deal with. And I kind of looked at him. I said, what do you mean? And he said, when you get your mind set on something, there's no changing it.
Yeah.
You're stuck. I can't help you anymore. So our phone calls, okay, this is what you're doing. All right, bye. What do you need me for? His job is to help me be able to find more, be able to make sure I'm doing everything the right way.
Yeah.
And he was like, your mindset gets in your way at times, to where you just go in and you're like, hey, this is what it is. I'm not doing anything else. Don't tell me anything. Don't talk to me. This is what I'm doing. Yeah. Just tell me price it. And I talked to, I was like, I told him, I said, man, tell me, I'm glad you told me that. I want to be better at that. And I asked him 2 days ago, I said, man, have I gotten better? You told me a while back I was hard to work with.
I would say,
have I gotten better? And he said,
that's ballsy.
Why is it ballsy? No. Well, then I hadn't gotten better. What do you mean? All you can tell me is no or yes. What's bad about that?
I think I would ask somebody else.
No, he was the one that told me. I want to hear it from him.
Yeah.
So I asked him 2 days ago. This is a true story. I asked him 2 days ago. I said, have I gotten better? You know, you told me a while back that I was hard to deal with, hard to work with at times. And he said, you've gotten a lot better. Now, are there times to where you still have that moment? He said, a lot of times you're right. But you still have that moment to where, hey, let's look at the whole picture. Let's take a step back. This is what you had me for. And so after that, I was like, okay, so I've grown.
Yeah.
So that's,
I know you have.
Yeah. So that's part of my growth, being able to go into that.
No, I get it. And I've grown up a ton too, as far as, I don't know if you've ever seen it. You might have, and I just never realized it. But I used to be really quick to react. Like, whether it was in a good way or bad way, especially at work, if I saw someone doing something wrong or not following a process, I would just flip a switch. And now I've learned how to, like, kind of take it in, dissect the moment, realize, hey, maybe they don't know better. Don't just assume. So that's where I've grown the most from my mindset is in my past probably 2 years of leadership is realizing don't always assume the best is what I've learned. Don't just assume somebody's not doing a process because they don't want to. Maybe no one taught them. Maybe they were confused when they were taught, when they were getting trained. So that's the biggest thing I've grown into. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Probably not, because I don't really have those issues at home. But definitely professionally, I had to learn to always assume the best. Don't just get pissed off or heated after one small, minute thing that somebody doesn't. They might not think it's important. So what I've learned from that is to kind of just sit back and dissect the situation without just walking in and becoming a bull. 'Cause that's what I used to do. I just walk in and just start running my mouth.
I think this is one of the biggest thing that I've noticed with leaders that I've been around recently is how calm they are.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, okay.
That's what I've had to learn. And I've gotten
And
still not great at it, but I've gotten way better at it.
having the patience and the mindset to say, all right, let's hear his side of the story.
Yeah.
The last I worked for someone before that was very what is it?
Hungorious
No,
or something?
gun ho.
Yeah, gun ho.
Very to the point. Everything was a problem. Everything was going
Yeah.
on.
And they're not fun to be around.
And being able to go around and see that, I've kind of had to start changing the way I did things as far as looking back and taking a step back and just watching people.
Yeah.
I've grown into the mindset to be able to learn and learn the way other people move when they talk. And I find it so fascinating how the leaders that I've been around, they've been very successful, have done good, have always been that way, to where they've been just even kill. They've been patient, super patient, probably some of the most patient people you'll ever meet. May not be like that in their inside, where they're just like freaking out, but on the outside, they're just like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, no, I get that. But you definitely have your days in leadership. That's one thing I will say. There's nothing more not stressful, frustrating when people like barge into my office or to my desk and like everything's on fire. I'm like, okay, calm down.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay. Milestone will be here tomorrow. Like instead of just coming in here and stirring something up or escalating it, let's sit down, let's figure out how we got here. What can we do to get out of this situation and learn from it and move on, and tomorrow's a new day. But you do learn that not baby managers, but baby people that are baby in leadership, like just new to it.
Yeah.
They still have that front line reaction. And you don't have to do that anymore. Our job in leadership is to figure out we're problem solvers. That's our job. I would love not to have any problems, but that means I'd be literally sitting at my desk doing nothing. Like we're in leadership because that's our job as a problem solver for people and think for them. So the faster you learn how to stay calm in those situations and have a growth mindset and realize like when you have clarity and a good mind, you can solve the answer a lot faster. Or solve the problem a lot faster. So
absolutely. Well, today we hit on a few points about this. So on episode 3 was about having a belief in development, making sure that you're constantly telling yourself, hey, even if you don't believe it, just tell yourself, be positive, be the head, not the tail.
yeah.
Embracing challenges, making sure that even when you're within those storms, making sure that you're clear-headed and be thankful when you're in those challenges because you're going to come out stronger.
Yeah.
And then also make sure to learn from criticism. Know that when people do criticize you, they're helping you. And the criticism learning can be from anyone. Someone that's 12 years old, 8 years old to someone that's 96. That's all I have.
Yeah, so I'd like to end on this. I have a challenge for any of our listeners out there. I want them to challenge themselves this next coming week after they listen or watch the show and self-reflect and see one area in your life where you can grow mentally. Challenge yourself, ask people that are in your corner, and see what they say. I think you might be surprised on what they say and that you never realized. So,
Absolutely.
but like always, thanks for tuning in. We're glad we could be here for you. If you need anything, let us know, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.